What's going on, Cowboy Nation? It's your boy, Roadstar Sports, making sense. Coming to you live, man, from the from the DC headquarters. Let's put it that way. Hope everybody's having a wonderful week and had a blessed week so far. Nevertheless, let's dive into some Cowboy news. Interesting take about these three: Paul Pierce, Joy Taylor. It's an interesting take, one that we've already covered before, but this is brand new. Wanted to bring to you live. First of all, subscribe to the channel, like the content, hit the little bell down below, and help your boy out. We're trying to get 500. Help your boy out. I appreciate it. But let's get to it. We're talking about Deion Sanders, Mike McCarthy, Jerry Jones are in competition with each other, in negotiations with each other, trying to figure out exactly, I guess, what's the best solution for the Dallas Cowboys if they decide to keep Mike McCarthy. So let's just say they have entered into the Terror Dome with each other in negotiations. Meanwhile, the Bears gave an offer to interview Mike McCarthy. Dallas Cowboys shut it down. Mike McCarthy is a hot commodity right now. I don't see where the Cowboys should hold on to him, but nonetheless, I'm not the CEO or the GM, nor am I the VP. But nonetheless, they're dragging their feet with this thing. They have until the 14th, technically next Tuesday. I think they're going to drag this thing out somewhere around maybe Monday. Things should start heating up a little bit. It may happen over golf or whatever the case may be on Saturday or Sunday. Ain't no golfing here going on, but nonetheless, because it's snowing. But nonetheless, let's hear what these guys have to say, and then we're going to come back and break this down like Tevin Campbell. Let's see what they got to say.
Have an opportunity to be a head coach, and it would hurt them.
Well, speaking of potential head coaches in the NFL, Deion Sanders was asked again if he would consider coaching in the NFL, and he did not shut down the possibility. Thumbs up.
They go to the door and open back up. Where's Michael at? Where's the playmaker? Where's his biggest promoter?
I know we don't have Michael in today, but he would definitely, I'm sure he's excited.
Door's back open, y'all.
Do you want to see Coach Prime in the NFL, Bob?
Of course I want to see Coach Prime, because this goes along the lines that I'm talking about. It takes either a special player or a special coach who could come in year one and change the culture, and that's who Deion is. There's a lot of teams out there that need culture building. One of them, the Oakland Raiders. Another one, the New York Giants. I mean, there's several teams that once you change the culture, that doesn't mean you're going to win right away, but you have the basis of it in place. You know what I'm saying? And you build from that, just like they did in Detroit.
Yeah.
You know, they built that culture there, and it took some time, and that's who Deion is, and that's why he should be one of the hottest, if not the hottest commodity on the market to be an NFL coach or anywhere in the world, just coaching, period. When Deion walks in, it's just eyes turn and the energy. You hang on every word he's saying, and that's who he is.
The success that Deion had at Jackson State, Colorado, and then I think most impressively following it up in year two, winning 9 games and getting the success he had from Shador and obviously Travis. But the way that he communicates and relates to players, Paul, there's very few guys that can do that and be authentic.
On planet Earth.
Right. So Deion Sanders, to me, when I look at him, I think in the right organization, he can be an absolute monster. I think he can skyrocket a franchise from being irrelevant to relevant. Look what he did for Colorado. And that's not only off the field, it's winning. He has won everywhere he's gone. I think Deion Sanders is an absolutely...
Dallas Cowboys. That's probably why we haven't, we put the pause button on Mike McCarthy.
Yeah.
I would love to see Prime in the NFL, and I would love to see him with the Cowboys. I think Deion Sanders coaching Dallas Cowboys would be LeBron Big Three-esque. It would be the biggest story in sports. We would cover every second and every...
And listen, this is big coming from Joy Taylor. You know how Joy Taylor has been on Dak Prescott, now quarterback. and the Dallas Cowboys, that's huge coming from Joy Taylor. I'm just saying. Just saying.
Millimeter of that story. So selfishly, Dallas, it would be unbelievably interesting. I started my career when LeBron, Josh, and Wade were in Miami, and to this day, I have not experienced any story in sports that even remotely comes close to the coverage, to the vitriol, to the haters, to the praise, to the excitement, to the coverage. It would just be unbelievable for the sport, and I think he would be successful, just like they were. And that just adds to an incredible narrative, and it would just be, it'd be amazing. Now, I don't think it's going to happen because it seems like Mike McCarthy and Dallas are negotiating.
Dallas declined Chicago's request.
But I also think that prime with the Raiders in Las Vegas would be prime time as well. I think it would be. I think it would be a beautiful.
That's actually the perfect.
A beautiful place. Dallas to me is 1A, but.
You have to trade that.
Las Vegas is it's not
Suns now.
It's not going to happen. But Las Vegas would also be very, very interesting. I don't think every place would have the gravitas. To handle it, because you do have to have the stomach for it.
Hold on.
Gravitas.
Jacksonville's probably not.
Yes, like the gravitas.
Okay.
You know, to have the power, to have the energy, you know, to handle everything that would come with that. Like the Miami Heat could handle. Pat Riley could handle the attention, the onslaught of fans and people. Like you have to be able to have the stomach.
Now, she's bringing up some very, very interesting points as relates to Mike McCarthy's energy versus Deion Sanders' energy. Mike McCarthy has this kind of Jason Garrett kind of coaching feel about him, whereas you can go over his head to get the Jerry Jones to favorably get what you want. You can go over Jason Garrett's head favorably to get what you want. You probably can go over Wade Phillips' head to probably get what you want from Jerry Jones, and so forth and so on. So what she's alluding to with Deion in terms of this gravitas is that Deion has a certain command when he walks in the room, a certain aura when he walks in the room that commands or demands you to respect his authority in terms of what he is saying. Not a lot of coaches have that. Deion, to be fair and honest, Deion is old school. He is old school. You know, we're talking about Wayne Fonts. We're talking about Mike Dicker. We're talking about Tom Landry. We're talking about even coaches where he was a player before he became a player. Mike Singletary, those guys. These are old school players that's not going to play with these teams in terms of getting what they want done from you and having you respect the authority at the same token to say that you can go over my head to talk to Jerry Jones. Deion will negate that real quick. This is what she's saying.
For that type of thing. Dallas is built for that, and I think the Raiders are built for that as well. And I also think those are two places that should be really interesting. New York could also do it, for sure. New York, 100%.
Woody Johnson is a very specific...
No, not the Jets.
But the Giants have a coach.
That's what I'm saying. That's why. So the Giants could do it, but the Giants are not in the market for a coach. So the jobs, the positions that are open, with the combination of the possibility of getting his sons, I think that those are the two places I would love to see Prime. But yeah, it would be amazing to see him in the NFL, and I think he would be successful. Speaking of Mike McCarthy, the Cowboys head coaching situation, there is a report that Jerry Jones and Mike McCarthy spent significant time on Tuesday and Wednesday discussing the future. The report also said that people in Dallas expect McCarthy to stay with the Cowboys.
Hold the phones. Deion is available. Hold the phones. Let's stop these meetings right now. Go ahead, Jordan.
You're canceling it. That's it. No more.
Do you think the Cowboys should want Mike McCarthy?
I don't. And I think he had the 3 straight 12-win seasons, and everyone holds on to that. And that's a big deal. Winning a Super Bowl is a big deal. Very few have done it. But I think going back to last year's playoff game, they lose at home to Green Bay. Since then, this team has been average at best. And listen, I like Mike McCarthy. I think he's a good guy. I think he's a good coach. But we talked a lot yesterday or earlier today about having a new voice and the benefits of that.
Yeah.
You know, I know that Dak and Micah and CD have all campaigned for him, and I'll defer to more on Paul with this, but there's just too many expectations too much money being spent, and too much, like, Jerry is, he keeps telling us that this is the best team. I'm going to put together a Super Bowl team. He has to know that Mike McCarthy at the helm is not going to take them anywhere near a Super Bowl. And if he doesn't know that yet, and he's never going to know. But the fact that his contract expired, that they're potentially working on a new deal, and that they denied Chicago's request tells me that there's a pretty good chance I'm going to be disappointed here, because if I'm a Cowboys fan, that's exactly where I'm heading.
Well, maybe he just wants to negotiate with him first. And it may be a situation now they're going to like lowball him, you know, because Prime just became available. You know, hey Mike, come into the office, sit down, man. I got this 2-year, $8 million guy.
That's not going to cut it.
You know what? I'm out of here, Jerry. Prime, you there? You there, Prime? My man, how you doing, Prime? This is Jerry.
See, there. Oh, go ahead, Jerry.
I mean, I just don't think that Mike McCarthy has done a fireable job. And
but has he done an extension-eligible job?
I believe this year, yes.
They were terrible, and they were a sinking
Dak
ship
Prescott
before
was out. They were in a bad spot before, but I don't believe that is all Mike McCarthy's fault. Also, if you lose your starting quarterback for a significant part of the season, it's very difficult to evaluate what you would have been able to be. You also had time without DeMarcus Lawrence and Micah Parsons. This was a bad down year. But when I look at the totality of what Mike McCarthy is, when you're talking about what is a good coach and not a good coach, well, then I got to look around the league. Who are your peers?
He's probably somewhere in the middle.
Who can I compare you to? Do we think John Harbaugh is a good coach?
I do.
Yes.
They are the same coach. Mike McCarthy won a Super Bowl in 2010. John Harbaugh won a Super Bowl in 2012. Lamar Jackson did not reach an AFC championship game until last year. In what year? His 6th season? Hello? Mike McCarthy has only been in Dallas for 5 years. He's going into his 6th season.
Points.
They do the exact same job. They run the exact same job. They have almost a mirror. They have almost the identical resume. It is almost identical. The difference is Mike McCarthy is coaching for the Dallas Cowboys, and the Dallas Cowboys, with every breath they take, there is this 30-year albatross hanging over everything. They've done the exact same job. They are the same coach. I can read it to you here. They have this almost identical overall record. They have almost identical playoff record. They have the same amount of Super Bowls. He went back to an NFC Championship game when he was in Green Bay, so it wasn't like he just went to the Super Bowl and was never back to getting there again. John Harbaugh just went to an AFC Championship game last year. He's won 12 games in a row. They are in position to get over the top. Last year, that playoff game was a failure. There's no question about it. Losing to Green Bay the way that they did at home after winning 16 straight at home, the youngest team in the playoffs coming into your building with an unproven quarterback in the postseason, that was a cataclysmic disaster. That was a fireable job. But if you're going to keep him and you're going to have him walking around the building on an expiring contract, which everyone knows, when there's somebody who doesn't have the gravitas to be able to say, I'm going to be here, you better do what I'm telling you to do, or I will have a say in whether you're here next year. You can't walk around like that. You have to give your coach and the other coaches the ability to talk like that. But has he done a fireable job? No. Not to me.
Does the truth have gravitas?
No, yes, the truth has gravitas. Hey, but listen, this is what it is. It's not about his resume, because when you play for bigger-than-life brands like the Dallas Cowboys, like the Yankees, like the Lakers, there's expectation and there's needs for a scapegoat when things don't go right.
For sure.
And it's usually the coach. Now, since I paid Dak, it's not that. Since I paid CeeDee Lamb and you're about to pay Micah, they can't go down as the scapegoat because you can't trade them right now. The obvious scapegoat is Mike McCarthy. I say this with great respect to Mike McCarthy, there is a ceiling to what he brings you as a head coach. He's more of a floor guy, in my opinion. He's, at worst, you're going to have a season like this. 7 wins.
I think it could also get a lot worse. The main indictment I have of Mike McCarthy is the rushing offense and the rushing defense. They have not been able to fix the rush defense in his time there.
That has
been a huge problem. You can't stop the run, which is what we say every single year about the Dallas Cowboys. You have to address that. So there's certainly things you can be critical of it. I'm just saying, let's keep the same energy if everybody has the same resume about what it is a good coach, what a qualified good coach is. If Chicago Bears are asking to interview him for a reason, and he will get hired the second that Dallas lets him go.
If Michael Irvin, the playmaker, is telling us, and he knows as well as anyone, a change needs to be made.
I don't question. I don't question.
Even say,
All right, so when we take a look at this, man, and break it down for what it means, now I'm really hard on what they are saying as it relates to how Joy presented herself to the yesteryears or the past years of how she came at the Cowboys. Now I'm looking at it and saying, wait a minute. Now she's making sense on two phases. Well, she made sense throughout her whole argument, but in two phases she made perfect sense in terms of the running game and also the rush defense. I'm hard on the rush because Mike McCarthy, that's one thing that he has not changed since 2010. We gotta reiterate that over and over and over again. He hasn't changed since 2010. So we gotta take a look at, is he going to be able to do anything different moving forward into this new season? And is he going to be able to present any kind of changes that's going to help the Cowboys get to a level of none less than a Super Bowl? I don't think so, but hey, I'm not the owner. We look at the pattern of Jerry Jones in the past. Jerry Jones is the kind of person that's going to like somebody to bow down to him, somebody that's going to do what he say and not what he do. He's the kind of owner that needs somebody that's going to be a Jason Garrett or a Mike McCarthy that's not going to give no pushback, that's not going to put them in a position to be uneasy. So Jerry Jones is going to pick that kind of person, that kind of player. And so I like the arguments. I even like what Paul Pierce said in this as well. But the overall perspective is this. It's a waiting game for us Cowboy fans to see what Jerry Jones is going to do. We're talking about the same old Jerry Jones. Leopard don't change his spots, nor zebra his stripes. And Jerry Jones is the same kind of person that's going to do what he said in the press conference. I'm not going to change. I'm going to do the same thing that I've always done, take my time in the decision making on how we're going to move forward. That's Jerry Jones. This is what Jerry Jones presents. This is what he presents to the table. And so, meanwhile, we're stuck. We're stuck in this carousel until the 14th, it looks like. Now, Michael Parsons has done a phenomenal job this year. He's done a phenomenal job this year. Michael Parsons is doing some heavy lobbying for Jerry Jones and the Dallas Cowboys to make some very, very good positions. On defense, let me say this. We need all the help that we can get on defense because Donovan Wilson is going to cost the Cowboys $8+ million this year, and he hasn't done diddly squat. He is horrible. He was horrible. This is the worst that he's looked for the Dallas Cowboys since he's been playing. Now, the Dallas Cowboys can move on with him because he'll be 30 years old this year. They can move on for him, cut him, and save $5.3 million if they do that to get a bona fide, young, sassy, saucy safety that's going to help these Cowboys out and help out Overshown as well, because I love Overshown. Overshown, man, much prayers for that brother, and we're expecting him to be back. Hopefully by game 1, he'll be back. Hopefully. Well, let's keep our fingers crossed with that. Other news is Cooper Rush gave a shout out to the Dallas Cowboys and a Dallas Cowboys fan. Thank you, Cooper Rush, for your services, stepping in as a number 2 quarterback for the Dallas Cowboys. It looks like Cooper Rush is going to definitely test the free agency market and see what's out there for him. All the best for he and his wife. But he sent the shout out, and it seems as if it was a more so of a farewell for his 8 years that he's given the Dallas Cowboys. And hey, man, 8 is the Lord's number of a new beginning. So let's just hope that whatever he has in store, that God has in store for he and his family, and that he reaches green pastures on the other side, wherever he's going to play. But the Dallas Cowboys got their work cut out for them. The way they did Cooper Rush was dirt wrong. You should have paid that man that $500,000. He put in the work, and I was hard on Cooper Rush in terms of his play. But what do you expect for a backup quarterback? You think a backup quarterback this fall off trees to take you to a Super Bowl? It's hard to find him. But nonetheless, he did a great job for us. Thank you, Cooper Rush. Much love for you and your family, and better success in your future endeavors. Now, I'm going back to the drawing board. I'm going back, man, to find out exactly what's up, what's going on with Dallas Cowboys news. This is my time right now, man, and I'll be back again to share some more Cowboy news with you. And also on a last note, Harbaugh is falling in love with Zeke. Zeke has shown Harbaugh some things in this short period of time that, hey man, I'm gonna be watching very carefully, very closely what the Chargers do in these playoffs, man. We'll see how it goes, but hey, at the end of the day, how about them Cowboys, man? It is what it is. We sitting at home watching Paul Pierce enjoying and company talk about the Dallas Cowboys. Paul Pierce, put that in perspective. Enjoy Taylor. Hey man, it's all good in the neighborhood. Peace. I'm Roadstar Sports. Please, like I said, subscribe to the channel, like the content. It's all love. Cowboy Nation, still the best nation. And I'm out with that one. Woo! Man, I tell you, what a time. What a time.